Hi everyone, long time no see. Welcome back to a new video, I guess. And I wanted to share with you this new project I am working on. And it's still work in progress, but I think it's at a good point where I can actually share what's going on. So first of all, let's sign in and check it out. Cool. So this is, as you can tell here, the spiritual successor to Notes on Vue. If you don't know about Notes on Vue, is this website that I created a few years ago, and that it actually was aimed to be, well, basically that notes on the framework and things that I thought were important for me to explain while I was preparing to, start giving workshops and things like that. My idea was to, become kind of an instructor of sorts for Vue.js. I haven't really accomplished that, even though I've tried a few different ways of creating content for Vue. And I will probably put up here a card with another video for a test environment that I created for helping you learn Vue. And this workshop actually I did give at one point in one of the companies I worked with. So yeah, there's that. But now we have this project, which is not Notes on Vue 2 or anything. It's called Amoxtli Vue. And Amoxtli means book. So the book regarding Vue, the book about Vue, is the idea here. Anyway, so this you will probably see something familiar to other technologies, and I will break them down maybe later on. But for right now, I just wanted to show you the progress so far. So the idea is basically the same as Notes on Vue, and the goal here is to create, with the new stack, with a little bit of more modern tools, course on Vue basically. So this is aimed to be a written course, so things that you can read, and you can see some new parts that I've been adding that are more in the context of modern Vue and Vue in, I guess, 2025 and things like that. So there's different things in here, like the already known links to outgoing sites, but also I added these tooltips, which I am very proud of because they look really nice and they behave really well. You can see also that we are getting a live environment where you can try the stuff we are talking about, in this case on the left. And you can see, like I said, the live environment, which was very important to me. Like if you take a look at Notes on Vue, at the very end of each kind of lesson, you would get an example and a code pen pointing out to, the code I created to kind of explain more practically in ways that you could get your hands on stuff. But this wasn't as interactive or as practical as I would have wanted to. And I also depend on CodePen. If this site goes down, then I don't see anything in here. So yeah, there's this. So this is powered by Tutorial Kit, and like I said, I can break down that farther down the line, but basically this is a modification of a Tutorial Kit instance that I created for this particular project, right? So on top here you have the editor with the different files that you have available, and on the bottom there's the preview with like a browser instance going on right here. One of the things I really liked about the tutorial kit kind of base, that what it gave me was the fact that you could do these things for explaining your code and highlighting parts of it and things like that, add some comments which are not embedded into the code itself. And that kind of creates, for me at least, a little bit more of a clean look to the code. And so it's a little bit less distracting because there's not a ton of comments in there. But let's move on real quick. Sometimes this happens and all you need to do is just reload the preview and the output comes back to what it's supposed to. Unless, of course, you have something like a challenge where the output is broken on purpose, basically. But you can always, go through the code and fix it, or click here on solve. This is something that tutorial kit provided. And there you go. It works now based on the changes that we made to the code here, or whatever changes those were, right? And yeah, so the next thing I would like to point out is this chapter here, the special playground. So in the same way I named Amoxtli Vue the book of Vue, there's this Yeyekoa playground, basically. Yeyekoa in Nahuatl means to try something, to experiment, to rehearse, to experience something, and I thought it would fit perfectly with the idea of this playground. So I basically took the REPL from Vue and added a few things. I'll be adding the video to just explain the playground itself here later on. But you can see now that on the same preview kind of portion of the platform, we now have the playground going on here, the Yeyekoa Vue application itself. And in this case, you can do, for example, this, where you get the full screen kind of experience with just the playground. And in the playground, you can see that we still have a preview, which is kind of a preview inside the preview kind of thing, and then I added this console here where you can see we're printing out the version variable here and it's output here, right? I will show you a little bit more on the console in just a little bit, but let's continue with the kind of like the features for this. So I also added a very minimal kind of version control here. So if I save the snapshot and then I try to go to the history, right, of my session, you will see that I have no changes in here because, well, this is the exact same version. But what if I added some more changes, and then I saved? Well, now that it is saved, then there's one change in the file. The diff is showing up here, right? So there's that, and you can restore the different changes, and that will create yet another snapshot there. So if I went back to the original or the restored one, things like that, then you will be creating these kind of snapshots in here. So important to point out that this is a beta version, as you can tell from down below here. Maybe it's a little too dim, but the idea is just to create the basic environment so that the snapshots are working, and then people can, while going through the course, they can store their own modifications to the code, because sometimes you just need to experiment, like I said, or make changes and try to play around with the code, and probably you don't want to lose those changes. So what if I didn't really need those? Then you can delete snapshots, and you will get first a confirmation button here that you can click for removing that snapshot. I also added a little bit of a shortcut. If you hit on Option and then Shift, or maybe Alt Shift in Windows, then you can remove directly without having to double click or confirm once you clicked the delete button. So that's a little bit of an addition there. So those are snapshots. And then we have the layout. So for the layout, what I did here was I added the preview toggling, basically. So you can show and hide the preview. And let's probably hide the history for now. And you can rotate or change the layout that you have. So if you wanted to, instead of side by side, you wanted to have top and bottom views for your code and then the preview, you can have that. There's also a way for you to reverse the layout. So I want to have the preview on top and then the code on the bottom. You can do that here on the Yayakoa Vue, the playground. You can remove or add the console, or basically hide or show the console. That's what I mean. And you can change also that layout. So you can think of the preview and console as one same panel kind of thing, and you can change the layout there. So there's that. The goal was to give a little bit of flexibility on how you see your panels, just because that makes a little bit more of a comfortable experience, right? So there's a few changes that I had to make to the official REPL component, and well, this is basically a fork of that. All right, and if you wanted to, have the other layout back, then you can have that as well. There we go. So there's a little bit of play that you can do here with the sizes for each part, but you can always, toggle the full screen on and off as well. Cool. Regarding the console, I think I mentioned I would show something as well. And let's see, I think you could do, conditional rendering is where I want to show you. So on the left, you can see we're explaining the things and highlighting and collapsing the code that you don't really need to care about when looking at this particular part of the explanation, and so on and so forth, right? Like the comments I mentioned. All right. And then very quickly, the console also supports showing like what the elements are. And there's a few, things that are supported in the console, but it's not the whole thing. So you wouldn't be able to like click on the element and then have it highlighted on the preview and things like that. So you can't really point to that directly like you would do in the actual DevTools in the browser. But I think this would be good enough for what we need right now. So there's this. And finally, the one last thing I wanted to show was the support for light mode, because I know not everyone is very fond of having a black background with the light text. So there's this. I've been working and paying close attention to the details basically on what this would look like. Let me see what the syntax looks like. So I tried to match the color scheme for both the explanation as well as the editor, things like that. You could also see, for example, in the, I don't know, maybe here, the previous chapter, we might have, here, for example, we have those tooltips that are obviously differently in colors and stuff. They are presented differently. So light mode is also also important here, and it has its own, personality, I would say. So there's that. There's one more thing I want to show about the playground, but I think I would do that in a different video because I still need to set up a little bit of the environment, and I don't have that ready right now. Okay, so the last thing would be I added the login and logout here because I am protecting the content of the course essentially. So you can see even the landing page has support for dark and light modes. So what I was saying was I wanted to put this behind a login because I would really like to profit from this project, is what I would say. I am not entirely sure if I want to like sell the course itself, or if I want to make it like a pay what you can, pay what you want kind of deal, more like that. But definitely, I would really like to use this to help, have another kind of source of income and be able to help with some stuff that's going on at home right now. So the idea is to present you with this, to let you know that I'm working on it, that there's this platform that I am working with, and this is basically stuff that I am coding myself, things that I am working on and creating the content. And I don't even know if I will be like recording videos explaining the actual contents here and then giving that out as part of the course. What I do know is what I will explain later on in the dedicated video for the playground. But there's that. So I just wanted to put this out there and see what the kind of like the reaction was. I will be trying to get as many eyeballs in this project as I can, so that I can kind of get a feel of if this is worth pursuing still, or there's something else I need to work on, essentially. But rest assured that I will at least finish with the basics part, and I will add as much content as I can for the basics of Vue, and that will be available for you to try later on via, I don't know if it's going to be a donation or me selling this course. We'll figure that out. Just wanted to share this. I am working on it, and I'm very, very excited because I've learned a ton of things while implementing it. Maybe I could also work on creating videos explaining things I learned and how I integrated stuff, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and catch you later.